Well, hello guys and welcome back to Mr. G Physics. Here's Mr. G, and this time we're going to be doing a question for the grade 10 related to motion. It is a good question, and it's a question that learners attempt to struggle with. It is related to motion, and this was question 6 from November 2023 done in the KZN in South Africa. So we're going to do the question, but before we move on and before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and thumb up please, so you can get more notifications and videos I post on regular basis. The question said a forklift starting from point X need to pick up a package from point Y, which is due east from a point X. Now, important, since the moment they're speaking about east, west, north, and south, you cannot use then right or left. We have to stay with east and west, which is the compass direction. The package is thereafter transported to a table which lies 350 meters to the west of point X. You can see it there. The entire trip takes 2 minutes to complete. You have the picture, and then you know now what is happening. That forklift is moving all the way to the east to pick up the package on Y. You can see the box there, and thereafter move to the west to put the package or to place the package on the table. Define the terms average velocity in words, and let's go and speak about that one just now. The formula, let's start with the formula. Velocity, which is V, all right, let me just fix this one. V is equal to delta X divided by delta time. So let's speak about this one before we even start. Let me move it a little bit. There we go. Before we move in, or before we write the definition for this one, I want to point out certain things right now here. Okay, so first of all, every time in physics you divide by change in time, every time you divide by change in time, that one is going to be called rate. So every time you divide by a time, it's called rate. So we mustn't forget that one. Okay, that is important. Second important point to take in consideration here, so you must remember, it's not for this question only. Delta, this is called delta. Delta means change. Delta means change, and in other words, change is final minus initial. Minus initial. That is what we call delta. All right. And third important point is to note that X stands for position. Stands for position, which is a vector quantity, by the way. So we must write it somewhere. Here is a vector. So all this one is important things to have in mind. So if we read now this specific formula, if we can read here what we have, it is the rate, because it's divided by time, of change in position. That is the definition for velocity, guys, which is also a vector. So maybe we can write here, this is a vector quantity. It means it has a direction. So from here, rate of change in position, that is the definition. And that definition is coming from all these points I just gave to you. You have to remember. If you do that, if you learn the formula may be given to you in the exams, then you will get 2 marks. 1 and 2 marks for the definition is quite simple. I hope it helped. I hope you understand that one. Let me get a sip of coffee. You know, you are one of my learners, you know, I need coffee. I need coffee. So anyway, let's go to the next part of the question here. The question says calculate the average velocity of the forklift of the entire motion. Now, we just look at this one here. We just look at the definition. Let's have a look here before we even move on in the question. let's just look at something, right? So I'm going to move this one slightly up. There we go. So now here we have point X. This one is point X, all right? That fog left is moving to the east in this direction to pick up a box, all right? And then it's moving all the way to the west for the table, which is right here. Let me see if I can make a table. It's fine. The idea is here is not to drop. This one is 350 meters, that distance. And the time is equal to 2 minutes. Remember, you cannot work in minutes. You have to work in seconds. So how do you convert before we even do any calculation right here? How do you convert? You multiply by 60 because 1 minute is 60 seconds. So you multiply by 60 and you will get that the time here, I'm going to write delta t, is equal to 120 seconds. Now, importance, that is a 20. Let me just maybe fix that. That does not look like a 20. I know people complain about my handwriting, guys, which is beautiful, by the way. 120 seconds. Now, something important for all those learners that are looking at this. Sometimes you doing things that are kind of right, but you still lose the marks. I saw many learners, good learners, by the way, that like to write sec. Now, sec is wrong. Sec is not second. Sec is just, I don't even know what. So you cannot write sec. If you do that, you will lose the mark. Later on, I'm speaking about if you have to calculate seconds, right? So please do not use sec because it's not accepted. Okay, so now let's see, they're asking for velocity or average velocity. What we have here, the initial position of the object is here. This is the initial position of that fog left. The final position, even though that fog left is going all the way to the east and then all the way to the west, the final position when that fog left stops is right at the table. So this is the final position. If you would have to represent that one with a vector, then it's a vector that is going from initial position to final position. This is what we call change in position, which in one word is displacement. Displacement. All right, so that is the displacement of the object, which is also a vector. So I'm still can move it a little bit more there, so we can solve or calculate the average velocity there at the bottom here. So if we do that, we have that this one is now velocity, average velocity is equal to change in position. You have all displacement. You have to write the formula because there is 1 mark for the formula divided by change in time. You substitute, we can substitute in here. You can calculate the change in position, but it's not needed because the initial is 0. You're starting from there. So this one is going to be 350 divided by the time, which is 120 seconds. All right. So here, the answer is going to be, let me just use my calculator real fast. And then the answer is 2,91. 2,91. Well, if you round off, it's 2,92 meters per second. Now, guys, the direction must be given because velocity is a vector. We have it there on the screen. So if you don't give a direction, the answer is wrong. All right, so the direction here is west. Now, the marks. Let's give the marks here quickly. 1 mark will be for the formula. 1 mark will be for the substitution. 1 mark will be for the answer with the direction. One of my learners, just I think yesterday, day before yesterday, said, but if everything is wrong and I miss the west, say, guys, if the west is missed, is not right, it's wrong, because west is part of the answer. It must give a direction. So Nothing to say about that. The direction is at least the question asks for the magnitude of the average velocity. Then is another story in here. Okay, so let's continue with this question. Let me just set up here for the next part. There we go. There we go. So for the next part of this question, say calculate the average velocity of the fork. We already have it. The average speed of the forklift is 3,75 meters per second. We can maybe come here back and write that one is the speed now. The average speed, which is a scalar quantity. So speed here, speed is a scalar. It means no direction needed, okay? Can move it a little bit down. There we go. And then speed, guys, is given to us. And let me just write it here. Speed, you can also use letter small v if you want. It's not an issue. It's given, and you know, my memory is not that good, guys. It's not that good. It is 3,75 meters per second. So it's 3,75 meters per second. All right, the time is still the same, guys. The time still 120 seconds is given to us, okay? So the question say, let's go to the question, determine the position of point Y relative to point X. So you're looking what is position of point Y. Position, remember, is a vector quantity. So the question is quite interesting. Let's go and see how to solve or approach this specific question. First, they give us speed. Now, speed, let me use the symbol V. Let me use the symbol V. Speed is equal to total distance divided by total time. All right, now distance is a scalar quantity. What is total distance? If we go to the picture, maybe we can just do it again. Here is point X, here is point Y, here is the table which I have, oh my goodness, it's just table, so they don't give a name there. Table. So what is the distance? Now the distance is the complete or the total path taken for that specific forklift. So it means that for distance, this object is going all the way to Y, is go all the way to X, is go all the way to the table. So the distance will be the addition of, let's call this one D, this one is also D, and let's call this one, for instance, 350, because you know that number. All right, so what is the total distance? I'm looking at the camera there, and that is why I'm looking a little bit down. So what is the total distance going to be here, guys? Total distance is going to be equal to D plus 350 meters. That is the total distance, because that forklift is going to the Y, it's go back to X, so it can go to the table, so passing through X again. All right, so this one is mathematics, so this one is equal to 2D plus 350. And then saying that, which could be the tricky part, we can now calculate the speed. So let's see how to calculate the speed here, guys. Speed, which we know it is given, is equal to 3,75 is equal to distance. What is distance? 2D plus 350. All right, everything divided by the time, which is 120. There we go. And now the rest is just to calculate that one there. So let me rearrange quickly. Let me rearrange quickly that one for you all. And let's see, these 120s go to multiply that size. So it's going to be 300. Let me not change the color yet, guys. is 3,75 times 120. This is equal to 2D plus 350. All right, so we are there. We are there, which is quite simple. This one, if you do the calculation, let me just do it here with the calculator. I'm using the calculator right now. 3,75 times 120, that gave me 450 on the left hand side. So this one is 450. The 350 will go to the other side negative, so it will be 450 minus 350, and let us always laugh because I say please use a calculator. This is very easy calculation. That is 100 divided by 2 is 50. So the distance is equal to 50 meters. Well, this one is not the final answer. The final answer is position. They're asking for position. So position will have needed direction. So position is going to equal to 50 meters, but now we need a direction here, which is east. Now this one is the final answer. What is the marks on this? Oh my goodness, I bumped my hand. So what is the mark allocation here? You will get 1 mark for the formula right here. You will get 1 mark for the substitution of 2D plus 350, which is this side here, guys. 1 mark for the rest of the substitution, and 1 mark for the final answer with the direction once more. So that one will be the end of the equation. I thank you all for watching the video. I hope you did. Thumb up, subscribe for the channel, and then I'll see you next time with another video. Mr. G here.